in your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We as them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. In your house is the perfect distraction. Pumpers in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smoke. What is up, guys? What is cracking? It's the Con Man, and I am in your house. And you guys already know the vibes. Anytime we slide on through, we're here to give you that work when it comes to this professional wrestling business. And guys, it is Wednesday, which means it's time to give it to y'all raw up here at In Your House. And we got Monday Raw to talk about a lot of things moving this week in the world of professional wrestling. We have got Backlash coming up this weekend. That's going to be a great show for the WWE. Hey, are you in the local Indiana area? Well, we've got a Merge 88 Pandemonium in the Pavilion. That's going down. Did you guys see that promo? That music video with Kindle Fire and Paragon? It was fire, but we got to talk about Raw here, and I can't talk about Raw without my co-host. She's divinely designed. That is divinely designed, Annie O'Neill. What's up, Annie?
What's up, everyone? I'm Annie, and I spent way too long in the tanning bed today.
I am a little red there, Annie.
You know, I'm trying to make a run for, joining Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman. Like, you know,
there you go.
You gotta look the part. And I definitely look like the part today.
Most definitely. You got to dress for the job you want.
Exactly. You know, if you can't visualize it, you're never going to bring it to life. So here I am killing it. But it's time to talk Raw on the greatest platform in the world.
Right.
IYH, a Raw deal. Wow, there's so much going on. There's Backlash. There's so much that happened on this episode of Raw. Like,
yes.
Yeah, and Emerge this weekend. Oh my God. Same match. What a beautiful piece of artistry. So
that was fun.
Talented people in this industry. It's unreal. Like, Paragon does it all. He really does.
He does.
He's stand-up comic, then like, is there anything he can't do? And
I don't know.
If he doesn't, if he doesn't know how, he's gonna figure it out. So yeah, most definitely for sure. We're gonna hop up in the chat real quick because we got Hype in here saying what's up, House fam. You got Voice coming in saying how goes it all, and Hype is saying Annie to Dangerous Alliance confirmed. Most definitely, bro. Most definitely. You know what? I don't care. Like, this is who I am. I want to get to where I'm going on the fast track. You know, who does Paul Heyman represent? He represents champions.
True that. Hey, nothing wrong. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Annie being a Paul Heyman girl would be amazing. Most definitely. But we got to talk about Paul Heyman because we got to talk about this episode of Monday Night Raw. That's what we talk about because this is the real deal with Howse and O'Neill. But let's stay there real quick, Annie, because I got to get some of your thoughts. I didn't think this Monday Night Raw didn't blow me out of the water or anything like that. And like not every episode is going to. I do appreciate the fact that we got a World Heavyweight Championship match on the main event of Monday Night Raw.
Right.
I thought that was pretty great. And we'll talk about that and kind of we'll bring together the guts of the episode. But I want to say with Heyman real quick, because Heyman cut a hell of a promo when Jey Uso was out there.
And I think this was the most important part of Monday Night Raw for me.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not going to hit every week because this one just helps turn the tables. But this was probably the most important moment of the entire night.
Yeah, I agree with that because like the crash out from Heyman need to be studied because he crashed out, and you know what? It was a justified crash out though.
100%.
Because and this is like the justified heel. This is the days of wrestling that we're living in right now, where our characters or athletes doing dastardly things. Yes, but in their mind, they're justified for it. And when I heard Heyman and justify why he turned on Roman Reigns, why he turned on CM Punk, you know, he took the big dog, brought him from the island of irrelevancy, brought him to the island of relevancy, built him up as champion for 5 years. Then when Roman was gone, he just left Heyman for dead with Solo in them, you know. And then you had CM Punk. You had CM Punk who put Heyman in that situation to have to be, you know, between a rock and a hard place. So it's like, he's like, I'm justified. It doesn't matter. You guys all say I'm the scumbag. I'm the scum of the earth. I'm the bad guy. But justified. I'm not wrong. I'm right. And screw you if you disagree. This was a monumental promo from Heyman to me. The crowd was way invested in it. He was getting heavy boos. He had Jay saying, "Yo, are you all right?" But one of the most important things, which I think is the point of the promo, is that it set intentions for Seth Rollins to say, "Hey, I'm coming for that championship." I guess all in all, I want to ask you, Anna, because you said it was the most important part of the show. I wanted to dig in and get your thoughts on it. The thoughts on this promo between Jey Uso and Paul Heyman.
You know, like I really felt this was a moment where I think Paul Heyman might be going into business for himself. To an extent, like, you know, he's tired of being in the crossfire of the problems of all of these people. Yes, he represents them, but it's no easy task representing someone like Roman Reigns or CM Punk. Like, these people often have no rules, no understanding of, they just do what they want. Yeah. And that's very it's taxing.
It is taxing, yeah.
To corral energy like that. And after years of being like probably emotionally battered, and your the cortisol release gets really tiring. So I really feel like the events from what fell out with Roman Reigns and CM Punk putting him in that position, I really feel like we have a new era of villain Paul Heyman. Like, he's really descending into that mastermind mindset. And I feel like he's actually at the helm, not Seth Rollins.
You know what? The more I've been thinking of it, the more I agree with that. And here's the reason why. Because when he was the special counsel, when he was the wise man to Roman Reigns, you didn't see him get involved in matches. You saw him very, very like submissive to Roman Reigns. He didn't, you know, everything was Roman Reigns' idea. You know, everything was revolving around Roman Reigns. And it seemed like, hey, he took a back seat. He didn't have a whole lot of mic time. He just kind of hit the A, B, and C of his promos. Like, you know, my name is Paul Heyman. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. I'm the special counsel and the wise man. Yeah, just give, and then he gives it off to Roman to say what he needs to say. But what we've been seeing lately is Heyman has been getting the mic a lot more. We saw in the main event that he actually, you know, was a distraction and got involved in the matches. It seems like this stint of Heyman's manager career, he's a lot more hands-on. And as a Paul Heyman fan, I appreciate that and I enjoy it.
And really in this episode and last week's, like, you really have to study and pay attention to everything Paul Heyman is doing, because if you're not, like, you're going to miss the sleight of hand, and that could be the end of it. You have to look at his mannerisms, what he doesn't say when he's not talking, because it's really, really, really calculating. And he's a different version of Paul Heyman when he talks to Braun Breaker compared to Seth Rollins. And I think that's just something really fascinating that Paul Heyman is very talented at. And like you said, the wise man iteration of Paul Heyman, like, unadulterated loyalty, but, you know, like, what he views as betrayal from Roman Reigns, you know, being left to the throes of Jacob Fatu and Solo, like, that betrayal, like,
it really you never know how that's going to affect someone. So I'm really, really invested in what I'm seeing from Paul Heyman, obviously, but
yeah, as a manager myself, to be honest with you, Annie, this is all study material for me.
It is.
You know, I love it.
Because like he was just on a tangent. You see spit flying from his mouth, like they're like, and he just believes so much in what he's saying, and like you said, he's that justifiable heel, and every word he's saying is true. Whether you like it or not, like it's gonna resonate on some level.
Yeah. No, I know you're cooking there with that take. As Heyman is cooking right now, and honestly, everything about this faction, because I love Seth Rollins, everything that he brings to the table. I think that he should be, next in line for title matches and whatnot, since he did win that main event match at WrestleMania. But I also love how this lines up Braun Breaker to seamlessly set him up into the main event scene. And, speculation, Annie, on the internet, and this is not confirmed by WWE, there's been nothing that has been even hinted at on TV that this is going to happen. But there's growing speculation, Annie, that there could be another member of this action, and that's just a perfect segue into the next thing I want to talk about, because we saw the return of Sheamus. Sheamus returned, and at the beginning it was supposed to be Grayson Waller, but Grayson Waller kind of talked his way out of that situation and talked Theory into that situation. Like it's crazy. So like, here's what I'm thinking. Just stay with me, okay? And I want to get your thoughts. I want to hear what you got to say. If there is another member to this faction, because people were thinking, quote unquote, Evolution 2.0. They're thinking Seth Rollins is the Triple H of the group. They're putting Paul Heyman as the grizzled veteran manager, the Ric Flair role. You have Braun Breaker as the Batista of the stable. Who's gonna be the Randy Orton, the young up and coming blue chipper that you could put in that spot? There's growing. Once again, this is not confirmed, nothing like that. But like, I can see it myself that there's growing thoughts that it could be Austin Theory, and if that is where that goes, in my mind, we're seeing the implosion of Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. They've been teasing this for a while.
Right.
I'm wondering if this is an out to get Theory over to whatever this Dangerous Alliance Evolution 2.0 is. We've seen Theory under the tutelage of Seth Rollins before in the pandemic era. So this is not strange or weird or anything like that. It could be Austin Theory, but do you have any thoughts? And what are your thoughts on the teetering scale? I mean, of course, Sheamus returned. Great to see Sheamus get a win. But to me, there's something weird going on with this Austin Theory, Dangerous Alliance theory that's kind of floating out there. What are your thoughts?
I mean, first of all, correlation doesn't prove causation. So, but a recent trend from this generation of WWE is that we get really interesting revisits from the past in a new and in what feels a reinvented way. So Austin Theory made a lot of sense when you were describing this Evolution 2.0, because like, honestly, who could replicate Randy Orton's energy to the best of his ability? Because I mean, that's who is a likely entity to Randy Orton. Austin Theory is a pretty damn good candidate.
Pretty close.
And also, what about Grayson Waller? Unlikely, but fun to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Grayson Waller could slide into that role. He's a great talker. He's solid in the ring. For me personally, like, who do you think who do you think fits the kind of suit and tie corporation? This ain't really the corporation, and of course we know that Seth Rollins is a crazy dresser, which proves the Grayson Waller theory even more, because Grayson Waller's a pretty crazy dresser. But you know, when we saw Breaker, he came out suited and booted, looking real nice and everything like that. We know that anytime we see Paul Heyman, he got a nice suit. He's tailor-made with the suits all the time. You can't sit up here and tell me, I know you would agree with me, Austin Theory would look pretty damn good in the suit.
Ooh, who else could fit the role though? Like now I'm very, very, very curious.
It gets you thinking, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Who can come in and fit in that role and be in that Randy Orton type role? Because it's gotta be somebody that can benefit from being elevated through this stable. This got to be the same situation as Braun Breaker. We all know that Braun Breaker is most certainly going to benefit from this situation, because Braun Breaker already, you know, a former NXT champion, a former two-time Intercontinental champion, and now they're positioning him for the main roster. It's got to be somebody that could truly earn the main event, that is. It's got to be somebody who could truly benefit from it. A name that came to my mind, but doesn't make sense because he already has all the accolades, would be somebody like Gunther, because Gunther is starting to enter that sickening type Randy type vibe, but he's a former Intercontinental champion, longest reigning ever. He's a former world heavyweight champion. Him being in this literally doesn't benefit him or anybody else. He's best where he's at right now.
Exactly. I need to fall out on his own.
Exactly. Austin Theory seems like the perfect fit because that could get him to that next level.
And I feel like, you know, he has been anything that has been asked of him, he's been doing. You know, I know he gets a lot of flack for being a Vince guy, but he's been paying his dues a lot in the last couple years. So I think he could potentially be rewarded with.
Big time agree.
Yeah.
Because like you said, he was a Vince guy. He was so much of a Vince guy. Vince was going on TV with him. That's a big thing. And then the whole turnover happened, and he got relegated to a tag team.
Right.
You know.
And I honestly thought A-Town Down Under was hilarious.
Listen, it's a good tag team idea for sure, but I think that with the way that the potential that these two have, I think they're both better off as singles in the grand scheme of things. You know, I think so. So, you know, Theory has been. I have not ever heard Theory complain about nothing or anything like that. And so my mindset would be, without knowing anything, I hear nothing. You know, Austin Theory is a former In Your House guest. I got a chance to talk to him before he signed with the WWE. But he seems like the type of guy that's a good soldier. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's kind of a buzzy word right now with what Karrion Kross said after WrestleMania, but it's very much the truth. I view Austin Theory as a good soldier, so I think that he could be rewarded in the grand scheme of things by getting put into the Seth Rollins faction.
Another name that flashed across my radar was AJ Styles.
AJ Styles is kind of floating around right now.
And I feel like at his foundation, he's crumbling a little bit. Like, we're seeing a slow descent. And, you know, like the Karrion Kross effect, it's a slow burn.
Yeah, it's a real thing too. Yeah.
And you're not going to crash out all at once. Like, it starts on a subconscious level and then it burrows its way out. So.
Yeah.
But I also think it's going to be a younger guy too, like Austin Theory. Like that makes a lot of sense. Someone who's gonna come after Seth Rollins. So make someone
a lot of good thoughts for sure. We got some good thoughts here in the chat. We got my man Hype. He's saying if we ever got an Evolution 2.0, it needs to be Booker T as Ric Flair, Mello as Triple H, Trick Williams as RKO, and then Obafemi as Batista. That would be a dope stable. That would be a pretty dope stable if that ever came together. Yeah, I like that, bro. I like that would cook. He says also he wouldn't mind both Theory and Waller joining Seth. That's a possibility as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it.
It gives them a tag team option. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, if somebody gets kicked out the group, that could work out too. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. We got Roger Pettit saying, "What's up, fam? What is going on?" Our guy, he is the ring announcer over at Emerge. He says one name, Pete Dunne. I don't know, Pete Dunne. I don't know if Pete Dunne could fit spot, bro. I like Pete Dunne a lot, don't get me wrong, but I feel like he has a ceiling because he's not like compelling in that way. I'm not saying that they couldn't put him in that position to be compelling, but I just feel like there's a little bit more upside with Austin Theory, and I think they trust Austin Theory a little bit more. You know, they've given him many opportunities to be in many different stables. He got a chance to be a United States champion and defeat John Cena at a WrestleMania. I think they got a lot of belief in Theory. They just been waiting for the right opportunity for him.
And I don't think Pete Dunne is the type of heel to fit that persona. The one that they're going to really looking for. Like Pete Dunne is that bruiser. Like he's gonna stalk you into the back alley, but like Austin Theory, like the cunning, the edgy, the one who's gonna cut your throat when you're not looking. So
yeah, most definitely. Hype also says Logan Paul would fit well with Seth as well. He could honestly fill that RKO spot. Now, I don't hate that idea, but the only reason I don't agree with that is because Logan Paul is so polarizing. He needs to be on his own.
I agree.
Him being with the stable, he's going to steal too much focus. Because that's who he is. Because that's what he's got to be on his own. If he's not the stable leader, then he's going to still focus. You know what I'm saying?
Finn Balor?
Finn Balor could benefit from it for sure. For sure. I think that'd be
he's got too much business falling out with the Judgment Day still.
Yeah, he's got a lot of business ahead of him. Also, he might not fit the spot because Balor's like 40 years old, you know, so might not being ageist here or anything, but the mindset is like, hey, it's got to be somebody young. They're going to develop that. They're going to be trying to be like, hey, we're going to be putting him out. We're putting him in a position to main event for the next 5 to 10 years.
Who do you think is ready to be called up from NXT? I mean, Mello is available. He's already up.
Yeah, he's already up. How about somebody like Ethan Page?
Oh, that's a good one.
Ethan Page could fit that role perfectly. Ethan Page.
Yes.
Also in the chat here, Roger is saying Ludwig would be great. I don't hate Ludwig. I like Ludwig's timeline on this group because he's a younger guy. He's kind of fits the role. He would look good in a suit. He's cocky. You know what I'm saying? And I think that he could benefit from the elevation. But Ethan Page, though, I like that Ethan Page idea and that thought. He could really slide in that role perfectly.
Agree.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. But we got a lot to talk about, and I want to go right to the Women's Intercontinental Championship mindset right here because we got Becky Lynch going up against Lyra Valkyria. We're going to get a few predictions here in a little bit, but mainly I want to talk about the promo here because we talked a little bit before the show, and I straight up told you that this was Lyra Valkyria's best promo I've ever heard her do. I've been a fan. I've been behind Lyra, even when everybody else says she's boring, she's this, she's that. I'm like, I see the vision. I think the cement's got to dry on her some more, but I see the vision. This was a good flash right here.
She is in the process of being polished and refined. And I don't know if it's just me, but have you noticed or have you felt like audibly like Becky isn't as fully Becky as she has been, and I think there's a purpose to that. Like her promo was good. It served its purpose, but it hasn't hit like a traditional Becky promo.
Yeah, I honestly thought the promo when it began, she was a little all over the place. She said garbage like 50 times, like put her in the garbage. I'm like, dang, like you gonna remind my wife that I forgot to take the garbage out. Hush, Becky.
Right.
Like, but no, like you said, it served its purpose. You're correct. And I think the purpose was Becky was queuing up Lyra to hit her with all those boom, boom, boom moments. You know what I'm saying? Saying things like the women's division has passed you by. You know what I'm saying? And you left and everybody got better and yada, yada. And like it went like usually when Lyra comes out and has a mic in her hand, the crowd is like, all right, let's get our what chance ready. This is gonna be our opportunity to do our what chance.
There wasn't any of that this week.
There was like, oh, I heard a lot of because Lyra was cooking her for a little minute there, and I think that was by design. I think Becky set her up for Becky to be cooked. Like I said, I thought Becky was a little all over the place. Maybe it's a little bit of rust from being gone for so long, but it served its purpose, and I think Lyra really benefited in that back and forth.
You know, I really feel like it was an intentional layup. You know, Becky kneeled down so she could get Lyra's boost, and Lyra really hit that one out of the park. Like
she did.
Lyra really popped off for me in this moment, and like the idea that WWE has behind her, I'm finally starting to get it. And when she was listing all of Becky's stats, women's SmackDown champion, first woman to main event WrestleMania and win, first Intercontinental, and she cut herself off, and she was like, "Oh wait, that was me."
I was like, "Who's like?" Tell him, Lyra.
And she said, "As long as I'm here, get used to second place." And I was like, "Ooh, okay, Lyra."
She was in her bag. I'm sorry. She was in her bag.
I acknowledge you. She really, really was. You know, and she's the first women's Intercontinental champion, and not even Becky Lynch can take that away from her.
True. That was something that nobody could ever take away from her. That's big facts there, Annie, for sure. But, you know, we got to go from one women's champion to another women's champion. Listen, I just talked good about Lyra, and I love Lyra. Like I said, I backed her up or whatever. This Io Sky title run, like what? Like she's having bangers against Stephanie McCoy, having bangers against Roxanne Perez as champion on TV. Io, her stock is rising to me.
It really is, and especially after WrestleMania, like I didn't expect her to retain. And she hit a brand new upswing, and it's absolutely awesome. Like the way that she is pulling up these young women who just got onto the main roster up with her, absolutely phenomenal. Like she just she shines as a champion. She really does. Like she has this aura that just makes you love her, and that you want to see her succeed. But Roxanne Perez, she's absolutely amazing.
So good
in the ring. Like,
so good.
Like this was one of the best matches on the card for me. It really was. And you know what? At the end of their match, I actually thought that she was going to shake hands and show a huge sign of respect for Io. I mean, and of course, like it was too good to be true, but like, and Roxanne has been featured 4 weeks in a row on Raw.
I think the call-up's official at this point.
It really is, you know. And I think it was Michael Cole who said that, like she was fresh to the Raw roster, and I think that was a little Easter egg confirming that she is 100%.
Oh no, I agree.
On the
I most definitely agree. And Julia, I think Julia's you know, I think they was trying to, because you got Stephanie and Julia, who came right around the same time, both major indie stars. So it's like 1A and 1B. So it's like, I'm sure they want, you know, not everybody can be, you know, in a women's champion at the same time. So they're like, hey, Stephanie, we're gonna have you be the NXT champion. We'll have you on the main roster on the big shows every now and again, but we're gonna keep you over there and on NXT to hold it down. Julia, we're gonna call you right up. We're gonna put you in this tag team type of situation with Roxanne Perez. You guys are gonna watch each other's backs. We're gonna run it on the main roster, see how it goes. So it's like I like that in a way that it doesn't get Julia lost in NXT.
Right.
To where
and no
she's
one gets outshined or staged because, like you said, there's a lot of star power, and it's par for the course that someone gets washed out, even though that's not the intent. But
yeah,
with so much talent, like you really have to stand out, and someone unfortunately would have to take a back seat, but really not in this case. Like, man, the finish to that match was so good. Like, Roxanne had a pin. Io had a pin.
Yeah.
Both had it too. And then then you get Roxanne in a roll up, and I honestly, there was a point in time where I thought Roxanne actually had the match won. I'm like it was a really cool visual
sequence,
right. Like the camera cutting at that time was really cool because I'm like, oh my god, did Roxanne just beat Io?
Exactly. Like it was a good match. Io Sky's been having bangers. Roxanne Perez is benefiting from having good matches on the main roster, and Julie is coming in as she's gonna come and sneak you. So I think we're gonna see Julia have a match against Io Sky possibly next week.
That's
soon.
What I thought.
Maybe Saturday night main event.
I thought that was would have been the result.
Yeah,
after Julia agree. Snuck in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's coming. I do. We had Rusev. Rusev returned, and he had a matchup against Otis. He beat Otis via submission.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of cut and dry with that because you're just introducing Rusev back to the roster,
right?
And you're wanting him to look dominant. Rusev was really doing his thing. He locked in the accolade. He gained the victory by submission. Akira Tozawa, he was standing in big dog with it. Coming and ripping his shirt off. But but he ends up getting his ass beat too by Rusev. I don't want to dig too deep into it. Not nothing against Rusev, but this was kind of cut and dry. Where are you at with Rusev as he's beginning his descent onto the Raw roster?
I thought this was a really solid first match back, and over I think it was 7 years. I think that was the number that was.
I think you're right.
Sudden commentary. And a man that big who can do a spinning heel kick is a force to be reckoned with, and it kind of, he definitely wrestled bears as children. He gives me that impression. So
yeah, for sure, you can see it.
I thought it was exactly what it needed to be. And from this point, you just feed Rusev people to gobble up. And become the machine that he's. So I can't wait for Bronson Reed to come back and him to square off with Rusev. I think that's going to be really fun.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Which I wonder when that's going to be. Because
I'm trying to figure out his timeline.
Because I thought it was 7 months at the time that happened, so I wonder where that puts us now.
Yeah, because that happened at Survivor Series, which was at the end of November. And now, you've got December, January, February, March, April, May. We put us at, like 6 months, 7 months he could possibly return for like Money in the Bank or something, or maybe if he's ahead of schedule, maybe we see him sooner. I actually think it's just a matter of time before we see Bronson Reed again, because I think his timeline is starting to get closer and closer.
I agree.
So that's be interesting. Definitely want to see how he pops off when he comes back for sure. But let's talk a little bit about this Gunther Pat McAfee thing going on. Once again, another one of those things that we don't got to get too deep into. Mm-hmm. I like Pat McAfee. I enjoy his commentary. It's cool. And this match is going to be interesting. I don't need it, to be honest with you.
Sure.
I'm not hating on the match or anything like that. I don't need it. I think this is just if
it feels like a filler match.
It does,
which is fine. It serves its purpose.
It does, but if you're going to, there's a couple of ways you could do this, because my mindset is that we're just gonna see Gunther choke out Pat McAfee, and maybe he won't take it off, and then we got to get officials to come out and try to pull him off, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. You know what would be expected, or what could happen is Pat McAfee could score a cheap victory over Gunther, a roll up or small package or something like that. And this is where Gunther really falls off and he's like, dang, I lost my championship to Jey Uso. Now I'm sitting over here losing to guys who don't wrestle, not in the ring. He's a commentator. I'm losing.
Yeah.
This could lead to the fall of Gunther.
I mean, because at the end of Pat McAfee's promo, I mean, McAfee said that he is going to show us that this version of Gunther is soft.
Yep.
And I really think that struck him to the core. But what do you think it would mean for Gunther, or how it would serve Gunther if he would win or lose to Pat McAfee?
We see a more desperate side of Gunther. We see something that we haven't seen from Gunther. As we all know, 80% of his time with WWE, he's been a champion. Adversity has been something that he hasn't really had to deal with. I think he could be an interesting.
He's caused the adversity.
Yeah. I think he could be an interesting. I think he could be an interesting character development. Is what I'm trying to say. Interesting character development for Gunther to see him. Go to that point. We got Rogers in here saying Pat gets the quick roll up for the win, and Gunther has a full crash out. We've seen Gunther do it before. He he beat Jim Uso to a bloody pulp. So we've seen him have those crash out moments before. I don't hate the idea of Pat picking up the win and Gunther just snap and like just completely take out Pat McAfee, and maybe we don't see McAfee on for a couple of weeks or something to sell the injury or whatever. But yeah, I could see a full crash out from Gunther. It would be, honestly, I'm talking myself more into Pat McAfee beating Gunther, to be honest with you, because like if Gunther just beats him, it's like, all right, well, that's done. You know what I'm saying? If Gunther loses, then it could lose some more twisted, is what I'm trying to say.
And then it gives the crowd that huge pop, that huge emotional pop that we love, because I mean, Pat McAfee has never been more well loved than he is right now. So
true.
And how is it that he can give such a great promo consistently? I don't know.
The guy can talk.
He can, like, better than a lot of the people that we've seen in the last 6 months. So
yep. He just knows how to connect, bro. It's just if you got it, you got it, and he's got it. He knows how to connect for sure. We got hype in the chat. He's saying one Rusev versus one Gorilla. That would be interesting. That could be interesting. That Rusev has been
versus the Bear.
Here. Hey, there you go. That could be a thought too. But we're on tight time right now. We all know we both got schedules, things to do, busy people, most definitely. I want to talk quickly about this main event segment. Get your thoughts on it real quick. We had the championship match, World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins did defeat Jey Uso. That was my qualification because we saw the return to CM Punk as he took out Braun Breaker. He took out Seth Rollins. Stood tall there with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn returned.
How else could it end?
To try to help out. Right.
Yeah, I thought this ending was pretty predictable.
Yeah.
Because Punk had to come back.
Right?
Right.
Easy. It makes sense. I don't know what we're leading to just yet, and that's okay. Like, is it good maybe So and Punk versus the Dangerous Alliance, or maybe this is how you reveal the third member because they got Sammy, Jay, and well, I guess what you could do is you could do the Dangerous Alliance, and you could do the Dangerous Alliance and Logan Paul versus Sammy and Jay and Sami Zayn and Punk. You could do that as 6-man tag.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an option right there. But other than that, I don't really see what you do at this point.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you.
Yeah, it's interesting, but once again, I like you said, and you said it perfectly. It doesn't need to be broken down any more than that.
Mm-hmm.
That this was cut and dry. It needed to be what it needed to be. And that seems to be the theme of this episode of Monday Night Raw. Which, guys, that's not a bad thing.
There was a point during this match where Jey Uso yeeted himself right out of his shoes. It was a spot where they were outside the ring. And, like, you barely see, like, his big white shoe.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just laying there. And then they cut into a different camera angle. And, like, Jay's trying to get his shoe to recover. And you just see what Seth Rollins is doing on the outside of the ring instead of Jey Uso. And I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. I love Jay, man. I enjoy Jay. I enjoy what they're doing. Like I said, I want to see what is coming next. Of course, that's Backlash, and I'm going to get your thoughts on Backlash. Before we do that, we're going to take a super quick break. We're going to give you guys an opportunity to see what's going on with this month. We're going to be doing the IYH draft, and then we're going to fire off Annie's Backlash predictions. What's up, guys? It's Alakam, the Concept House, executive producer of In Your House, and it's that time of year again for the In Your House draft. 4 teams, 30-second rounds, 15 picks, and a huge draft board starting off here with Monday Night Raw. Now, like I said, this is going to be a 4-team draft with 15 picks in 30-second rounds as we move on to the SmackDown draft board. All these picks are eligible. You can pick tag teams or faction up to 3. Anything more than that is not allowed. We have the NXT roster available, including Joe Hendry from TNA. And to mix it up, we have a little AEW in the mix here. Who's going to have the best draft board here? Who is going to have the best draft? You can check it out on May 18th on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, or on demand on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Come join us. Who's going to have the best team at the In Your House draft? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the return of the In Your House draft, May 18th. It's going to be great. Join us as we pick, and you guys out there in the house, who has the best draft board. And remember, one more thing, this Sunday, no In Your House party. We're not going to be doing it this Sunday in celebration of Mother's Day. So May 11th, no Sunday house party. We're going to be doing that. But we got to get out of here. We got to slide out of here. Before we do that, Annie, I'm going to fire off the matches here. You give me your picks for who you think is going to win the matches. Match card, ladies and gentlemen, going down this Saturday, May 10th in St. Louis. And I'm going to start it with Gunther versus Pat McAfee. I know we just talked about that. What do you think?
I want Gunther to go over, but I think it's going to be Pat McAfee.
For the story, right? I assume because it's going to be a better story.
Yep, it is.
I figured.
Pat McAfee gets pushed even more into babyface superstardom, and Gunther, well, he goes further down the spiral.
Yes, which is going to be a great story for him, for sure. All right, United States Championship on the line. This is could possibly be the match of the night in my mind.
I think it is. I think so.
Yeah. Jacob Fatu, champion Jacob Fatu, defends against LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre in a fatal 4-way. Annie, who do you got?
Oh, I don't want to pick.
That one's hard.
Can we divide the belt into quarters? That way everyone can win participation championship.
Yeah, I was gonna say the truth of the matter is there's no guy in this match that I would like. If they won it, I wouldn't be mad.
Right.
You know.
All right, so I think it's going to be, I'm going to dial it down to the person who I think needs it the most. It's going to be Fatu. I think he's going to retain.
Okay, Jacob Fatu retains, and what we both agree is going to be a fire match.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. We're halfway there because we got to get over to the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Lyra Valkyria, we just had a lot of good things to say about her, but she defends the Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. Who do you got?
Oh, this week of Raw really fired me up for Lyra Valkyria. You know what? I'm gonna deviate from the obvious, and I'm gonna say she retains.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Okay, so we're gonna say that Lyra Valkyria retains. That is Annie's pick, and then for this, we once again 4-match card. I want to get your thoughts on it. John Cena, Randy Orton for the undisputed WWE Championship. Who do you got?
Oh, there's another match besides that. It was the men's WWE Intercontinental Championship match.
Oh, do they have a match set up?
Yeah. It was Dominic and Penta.
Okay, they must have. I must have missed that.
It was announced on Raw. Yep.
Hey, I'm not mad at that. Who do you got for that one?
I'm gonna go with Penta.
Really? You think Penta's gonna go ahead and take it? Short reign for Dominic?
I think so.
Okay.
Dominic. Nope. I'm gonna go Penta. I'm gonna go with my selfish answer, and I'm gonna say Penta. Gotcha. Zero Miedo in that decision making, so we're gonna go with Penta.
All right, Cena and Orton.
John Cena is gonna go over, and he's gonna I think he's gonna dispatch Randy Orton. I think some shenanigans will be. Maybe we'll see Travis Scott intervene in this one.
Oh God, Travis Scott coming and pissing everybody off.
Weird MK Ultra vibe going on, so I don't know. So
hey, Cena then.
Yep, it's gonna be Cena.
All right.
Yep, I think any main event that he's gonna be in, he's gonna piss everyone off, and no one's gonna be happy. He's gonna continue to do everything he said.
Most definitely. And that was Annie's Backlash picks, and we're gonna slide out of here. But Annie, real quick, let them know where they can find you at.
Well, tomorrow I will be returning to the CCW Weekly Studios. That's going to be fun out in New Baltimore, Michigan. And I was just announced as the lead announcer at the broadcast table for Afterglow in Marquette, Michigan. So, yeah, Glow Wrestling is making a comeback, and I get to be a part of it. So,
hey, that's going to be dope. Happy for you. Happy to hear that for sure.
Without this podcast right here, I don't know where I'd be. Honestly, I credit a lot of the newfound success I've had in the last 6 months to the experience I've gotten from podcasting. So we bring out the best in each other. So that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
It's paying dividends. So I got that in the works. August 24th is I think it's Super Fan Fest in the UP of Michigan. Superior Fan Fest. That's what it is.
Oh, so, nice.
Con, throw it on over to you. What is going on for you?
I'm going to fire it off fast because we got to slide out of here. But guys, check out same match out there. Paragon featuring Kindle Fire to announce him as the last member of Team Paragon at Emerge 88. Pandemonium into Pavilion. I'm going to be managing that team. JD Mariani, PB Smooth, Paragon, and Kindle Fire. It's going to be dope. But anywhere else, you can catch me doing my thing right here in your house. The IYH draft is coming up. The ECW watch along is going to be tomorrow with The Voice. And remember, May 11th, no Sunday house party in celebration of Mother's Day. And we gotta take some time off and show some moms out there and whatnot. You know why? Because they put in that work. And that's HOWSC, and the W stands for work. So for Divinely Designed Annie O'Neill and everybody at Team In Your House, I'm Alakan, the Concept House, here to remind you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend to hop on this bandwagon. Get on or get gone, because the household, well, we're still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day and a great rest of your week. Peace. Yeah.
In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We is them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. And your house is the perfect distraction. Rumpus in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smoke.